Hello, it's the last day of notes on equation solving, and then tomorrow we'll have a little test. So first of all, this is number 3, and we are still solving equations. Last day of review. So today should be, the 10th, I believe? And we are going to be ... because it's kind of continuing. And now the variable might, not necessarily, but it might just be on both sides. And then we'll still have everything from the last couple days, which means lots of negatives, lots of parentheses, all that good stuff. So for our last section of notes, we're going to throw the variable on both sides of the equation. And here's our first example. Number 1, we've got 3x minus 1 on the left equal to x plus 5 on the right. And again, our goal is still to solve for x, so when we're done, we want to get x equals, maybe x equals 5 or 10 or something like that. But in order for me to figure that out, I need to consolidate them and get them together. So what we do is we move them all to one side of the equation. And we have two options because if I consider this kind of imbalance, I can move all of my x's over onto the left-hand side if I would like to. I could either, and I'm going to put over here my two options. If I wanted to move that 3x out of there and get everything on the right-hand side, I could subtract 3x from both sides. That's one of my options. What that would do is move all the x's over to this side because I need to get them on the same side. Or if I want to move everything over to the left, I could subtract 1x from both sides, in which case there won't be any on the right. They'd all be on the left. Well, you can do either, and they're both legal, but usually we prefer to not work with negatives, so kind of put this in the back of your head. We generally choose to move the smaller of the two, because then we won't have to deal with negatives. So our decision is to get this 1x here on the right-hand side out of there. And it's a positive 1x. So I'm going to subtract it from the left, and I'm going to subtract it from the right, and line it up with its like term, or you're going to get mixed up. So on the left-hand side, I've got 3x's, but I'm removing 1x. So what that gives me is 2x's minus 1. Where on the right-hand side, the x's are going to go. That's why I did it. 1x minus 1x is 0. And there's 5 left. Now I can attack that x. If you can't circle it because it's in multiple spots, it means you've got work to do to consolidate it into one term with an x in it. So now I just move my 1 over by doing the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. I get 2x is equal to 6. And now I get rid of the 2. This is 2 times x, so I divide both sides by 2. Again, I'm doing the opposite operation. These cancel. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And this is worth a check, just so you can see what we've got going here. When I go take this 3 and travel it up through the middle here, taking a detour, and I plug it in right there. And then I go over here and I plug it in, and then I listen. On the left, I would have 3 times 3, because that's what I'm putting in, minus 1, which is 8. On the right, I'd have 3, because that's what I said x is, plus 5, which is 8. So I've completely balanced that equation with an x equal to 3. Now I'm going to bump up the difficulty a little bit more by messing with your head. 4x minus 2 times 3x plus 1 equaling 4. And I say I'm messing with your head because now I didn't put the variable on both sides. So you got to make sure you don't kind of just get in the zone and just do what we're doing that day. We got to be able to work with all of it. So how did we attack x yesterday with this? We hopped in the negative 2. And again, link it with its sign so you understand that this is a negative that's going in. The 4x hangs along for the ride out front. I've got a minus 2 times a positive 3x, which gives me a minus 6x. And then on the second hop, I have a minus 2 times a positive 1, which gives me a negative 2. And this variable is not on both sides. It's on the same side, so I get to combine them. 4 of those, take away 6 of those, gives me negative 2x's. I'm on the x attack, so I'm going to circle it. I need to get rid of a minus 2, so I'll add 2 to both sides. Make sure you drop the sign of this one down with it. That's a negative 2x that equals 6. And again, it's negative 2 times x. So make sure you don't add 2 because you see that minus. That's actually a negative 2 times x. And the opposite of multiplication is division. These are going to cancel. And I get x is equal to negative 3. And I'm done. And I could check it, but I'm not going to check that one. So what I'm going to do now is number 3. And after this one, a piece of cardstock will go around, and I'm going to, again, put the first one to your worksheet on. You're going to pass it up, and if more than 15 of them are right, you'll get the worksheet. If there's not that many correct, then again, Mr. Dorholt or Ms. Dutzman or my sub will come up here and work through number 2 with you prior to giving you the worksheet. So you'll have to redo them. So make sure, after we do this example, you hang in there and try one on your own. But one last one together. We got negative 2 times x minus 1 minus 5. It is equal to or in balance with a negative 5 times x minus 2. Now, if you can do this one, you've got it all figured out. Because I've got negatives everywhere. I've got parentheses on both sides. The x is on both sides. This one's got everything. So, and this is kind of where we end. This is as hard as they will get. So let's begin. Where's x? Well, first of all, it's on both sides, but furthermore, it's stuck in parentheses. So we got to hop this in on the left to get rid of the parentheses, and we've got to hop this in. Notice I'm linking the sign with it on the right to get rid of the parentheses. The rest of the stuff, meaning this and this, are just going to hang along for a little bit. So negative 2 times x is minus 2x. Negative 2 times a negative 1 will give me a positive 2. This minus 5 is just going to plop on down and hang along for the ride. Over on the right-hand side, I've got negative 5 times positive x gives me a minus 5x. I then have a negative 5 times a negative 2, so be careful. Those two negatives make a positive 10. And then this minus 7 just hangs along for the ride. Now I've got to combine like terms. I've got stuff that can go together. Right here, so that's a big one, combine like terms right here. I have the negative 2x. That doesn't go with anyone over here on the left-hand side. But 2 take away 5 is minus 3, so that'll clean that up. On the right-hand side, negative 5x has no friends, but 10 take away 7 is 3. Now my variable's stuck on both sides, so I need to move them over. I have two choices. I can either add 2x to both sides to move all my x's to the right, or I can add 5x to both sides to move all my x's to the left. Now I would choose, again, you might say, well, 2 is smaller. 2 is, but these are negative. So this negative 5 is actually the smaller of the two. So if you choose to add 5x to both sides, you can avoid getting negatives, which is always nice. So on the left-hand side, I have negative 2x plus 5x, which is 3x's. On the right, the x's are all gone. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0 x's. There aren't any x's. I don't write any down. And I have that equals 3. Lots of 3's in this problem. So next up, I need to attack x. It's now on one side, and it's just got some numbers in the way. I'll get rid of them by doing the opposite operation. Opposite of subtracting 3 is to add 3. I get 3x is equal to 6. Opposite of multiplying by 3, because that's what this is to divide by 3. So when I'm all done and it looks like number vomit up there, I get x is equal to 2. All right, so right now if a piece of cardstock could get handed back to everybody, I'm going to write the first one on the next worksheet down, and you're going to do that on your own before the worksheet gets passed out. And the reason I'm doing that is I don't want the worksheet going out if we're not doing them right. So actually I'm not going to do number 1 on the worksheet. I'm going to pick one. The variable's not on both sides on number 1, so I'm going to pick one where our variable is on both sides. I'm going to pick number 6. So when you get your worksheet, this one will be number 6. So hopefully the cardstock's passed out. If not, just pause the video while we're waiting to get things situated. On the cardstock, this is what you're going to do nice and neatly. You're going to write this problem down. It is 14 minus x is equal to 2x minus 7. You go ahead and solve that on your own, and I'd like this video paused, please. Raise your hand when you are done so the sub knows when to play the video. All right, if 15 or more of you got it right, I'll do this one and the worksheet will get passed out. If not, Mr. Dorholt or Miss Dutzman or the sub will come up and do a few more. So here we go, variables on both sides. There's no distributive property, there's no parentheses, but I do need to get this x on the same side. In order to do that, I need to move them over. I can either take that minus x on the left and do the opposite and add x to move everything to the right, or I can take this positive 2x on the right and subtract it to move everything over to the left. Well, what's smaller? And obviously, it would be this minus 1 over here. So I'm going to choose to add an x. And it's really 1x if you like to put that on there. You might have subtracted 2x, and if you did it right, your answer will be right. I have 14 on the left equals 3x minus 7 on the right. My variable is over here. So I circle it. It makes my eyes go to where I need it to go, which is over to the right to solve for x. The opposite of subtracting 7 is to add 7. I get 21 is equal to 3 times x. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3. So I end up with 7 equaling x. And hopefully you had that one right. If not, hopefully you're able to fix it. Again, if there weren't at least 15 correct answers, I would like somebody to come up, one of the adults in the room, and go through another one. You can either make it up or grab worksheet number 3 and do 1 or 2 off of that. Then worksheet number 3 will get passed out, and tomorrow notes will be collected for 5 points, stapled to worksheet number 3, which is actually going to be for 12 points. Because there's 12 problems on it that will get corrected. If yours isn't done, they'll just get marked wrong. And then after worksheet number 12, there's also another extra credit sheet up there that you could do and attach to it. All right, so tomorrow all of these will be collected, and then you'll take a small, I don't know if you want to call it a test or a quiz, but tomorrow we'll do a little bit of review and then a small test. All right, have a good one, guys. See you next week.